Let's get everything up here and running. All right. Oh, there's my coffee. That's what I need. All right, we'll get started here in a second, guys. We'll start here in a second. Whoa, why is this so loud? How's this light look? Whoa. It's a little bright. What do you guys think? I think we're just gonna turn that back off. Good morning. We already got 3 shorts and a full-length video posted. I am typically going to be on much earlier than this. My only issue was I'm doing a new video format and shorts format and recording and editing it in a completely different style. So that took me an extra hour and a half this morning. Or I planned on being on at least by 6, and I'm an hour and a half late. It's just adapting to, I'm trying to be as efficient as I can with my time and my posts and my content. And so I'm in a little bit of a learning curve that's messing with my schedule. But what I'm actually doing is making it, I'm changing things so I can make it a lot easier for me to get content out and get on live just quicker. So, but it's just a learning curve here. What's going on, Tufts? I do want to, I'm excited to talk about a little bit of winter stuff. Go to weather bell. Let's change this from a black screen. Give me 1 second. That's not it. Hello? Why isn't it showing? 1 second, guys. Don't worry. I know the screen's black. Don't worry. I know the screen is black. Let's cancel that. Let's go back into here. There it is. Wow. These models looking extra spicy with the winter storms for November. Extra spicy. Let's take a look at the 06Z. Actually move this one snowstorm a little bit to the north. Look at this. It wants to put snow through Missouri. November 10th and 11th. Look at this big winter storm, one after another for November. I would love for this to happen, guys. I don't know if it's gonna. It's not all the way at the end of the run. We're talking about 250 hours minus maybe, but you know, I'm a snow lover. I would love for this to happen, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up quite yet. The Euro does see some similar outcomes potentially, and we can actually compare these. Let's go to our, well, let's use our 00Z and then compare it to our 12Z Euro. Let's go to Euro. So now we can kind of, no comparison available. What are you talking about? There we go. So now we can compare the Euro to the GFS. No, that's comparing the GFS to the GFS. We don't want that. There we go. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? So when we look at our big kind of snowstorm out here, potentially right there, Euro has that farther to the north. GFS has it farther to the south. Yeah, it's guys, that's because of TikTok. Hey, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's because of TikTok, guys. It's TikTok server. Sorry, I'm streaming on I'm streaming on YouTube as well. If you want to join me on YouTube, there's no issues with my stream on YouTube. This black screen thing has been happening on TikTok. Yeah, good now. Yeah, and I didn't change anything. It'll go black and then it'll not go black. I'm not changing anything on my end. It's literally a TikTok issue, and I honestly don't know what to do other than wait for TikTok to patch it out and update their servers. But if you do have any issues over on TikTok, you can join me on YouTube. YouTube is having no problems, which we love. So that's nice. Don't get me wrong, love you TikTok, but yeah, fix your servers. But this is pretty cool, getting to compare them right here. Now for the East Coast, the GFS is more aggressive as well on both of these storms, on the one on the 6th, on the one on the 12th. But look what they have in common, the GFS and Euro. As we get, this is kind of La La Land, but as we get out towards, I like seeing the winter like pattern setup. As we get out towards the second week of November, end of the second week, they both show a good snowstorm here, actually, for the States. So now the latest Euro, if we were to look at the Euro AI, I think this is actually interesting because the Euro AI model's being a little bit more aggressive. Let me get out of here. The Euro AI model is getting a little bit more aggressive than the actual Euro. If we look at, let's look at our winter total snowfall from the Euro AI. 6Z pulled back a little bit. Actually, it's actually pulled back at 6 and 0Z on the Euro AI. It's gotten more aggressive on the GFS. Still showing New England snow, but overall pulling back. Canadian's only going out 240 hours. And then GFS, there you go. Clearly the most aggressive. That's the 6Z. That's the 12Z. So 12, 00Z, 6Z. Pretty interesting. Anyways, we'll look at this. Yeah, we'll look at this. Let me be right back. Let me just jump up real quick. I'll just leave this looping for a second and I'll be right back. Dreading snow in Michigan. I know some people love snow, some people hate it. There's very few people who are just like, whatever, unbothered. Everyone's got an opinion on snow. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I hear my child running around. And so I might go check on that real quick. Where are we right now? GFS. Oh, that's 24 hour. All right, 1 second. Good morning, by the way. Good morning. We'll get started. We're going to go through a whole forecast here in a second. Like I said, for people who hate snow and cold air, they're probably not going to love the November forecast. For people who like it, they'll probably enjoy it. That's just how it's going to be. Where is... I'm all lost this morning, guys. I'm all lost this morning. There it is. Okay, be right back.
Thank you.
talk about this. Let's talk about this, guys. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. It now shows you... Wait. It now shows you in TikTok Studio the estimated amount of money you've made each stream. Can you guys guess how much money I've made this stream? It's... I'll give you a hint. It's very low. It's very, very low. Okay, we got 5 cents, $2. Can anyone guess how much money I've made this stream so far? $1.75. All right, maybe I'll do. Should I do the reveal? Should I do a reveal? I don't even know if I should be showing this on my stream, but can you guys see this? What it says right there? I have made an estimated 1 cent. So I do appreciate the penny, and I will put it to good use. It will go in my penny jar for an updated graphics card. Thank you, guys. Time for retirement. I agree. No, I mean, the streams, these types of early morning streams aren't for making a, I don't really care about the monetization and this type of stuff. This is just for fun and being able to, connect with everyone and go over the forecast. But I just think it's funny that it shows that now. So it's like rubbing it in my face. Like, hey, you've made a cent. It shouldn't even tell me what I've made until I at least get to $1, Keep it to yourself until I at least get to $1. Why is this all weird like this? Oh, it's because this bottom usually doesn't show? That's weird. Anyways, all right, let's get into our forecast moving forward. Weather boy, can I talk about Arizona? Sure. Hey, look at a little bit of snow out in Arizona, maybe. Yeah, at the end of this run. But this is far out. All right, let's get into the forecast. I'll answer questions and all that stuff. Don't spend it all in one place. I'll try not to. All right. Here's what I like to do. Here's what I'm going to be doing from now on. Let's just take a look at our updated future reflectivity over the next 2 weeks. And we're not just going to take a look at the GFS. We'll compare it to the Euro and the Canadian so we can really get an idea of who's going to see a bunch of heat and dry air, who's going to see some cold rain, who's going to potentially see some snow over the next 2 weeks. And then we'll dive into what's going on climatologically. Is it still look like a cold upfront winter? Could it be a little bit warmer, maybe November than expected? I don't think so, or December. And then tropics-wise, we can talk about that. And severe weather. I think there's going to be a little bit of severe weather as well. So let's go in that order. Here's the latest 06Z from the GFS. Off-hour run. But it's not the worst. By the way, if you're on TikTok, you can turn your phone sideways. Click the button, turn your phone sideways to get a little bit better of a view of this. Can I zoom in on this a little bit for you guys? Make this a tad bit bigger. There we go. You guys can see a little better. Okay. Alrighty. By the way, currently, here's what our weather's like. I guess I should show you what's actually happening right now. Currently, lots of rainfall up in the up through New England. Yeah, it's really going to be moving out as we get into Halloween night. I think the coast will be okay. You still might have a little bit of rainfall and snow in the high elevations of inner upper New England. A little bit of moisture floating through the northern plains. Not much. I think you'll be okay. Pacific Northwest, by the way, though. You guys. What do you mean, you people? No, I'm just kidding. You guys have a little bit of something going on up here. And I don't know why I decided to show you through WeatherWise, because WeatherWise is terrible at this. Let's just do full disc. There it is. Infrared. Look at this storm system. Look at this huge upper level low. You have pulling tons of cold surface. Cold rain hitting the surface. Snow up in the mountains. But this is just going to be wind. Like I said, cold rain at the surface. Snow up in the mountains. Plummeting into the Pacific Northwest over the next couple days. So enjoy that. It's also going to, I'm being sarcastic, don't enjoy that. It's also going to be moving down the coast, and it's going to be trying to put a little bit of snow into the Sierra Nevada and then up through the Cascades, and then a bunch of cold rain down there through Western California as well. All right, now that that's out of the way, and there's another storm system right behind there. So, you know, the Pacific Northwest is just doing Pacific Northwest things. Anyone from the Pacific Northwest knows exactly what I'm talking about. This is not uncommon. Okay, here we go. Pretty dry for Halloween night. Now let's move into the 2nd, the 3rd. This is getting into next Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so early next week, we're going to have a low pressure system trying to develop. And after I go through this, guys, I'll answer all your questions. New Mexico, Arizona, I'll cover that stuff too. We're going to have a low pressure trying to develop down here as we get into Monday, Tuesday next week. And we have a ridge pushing in out west. So hot air out here. We're talking including Arizona, New Mexico. And then we're trying to get some more cold air sinking in out east, and potentially a little bit of storm riding up the coast here Monday and Tuesday. Could get a little bit messy up and down the I-95 corridor there. So here we go. Monday, Tuesday, pretty quiet for most. A little bit cold and rainy in New England, and potentially some storms up and down the southeastern coast. And again, warm and dry out west. Now we get into the middle of next week. We get into Wednesday. Potentially some more snow for northern Appalachia. What do you got? The Catskills and the whatchamacallit up here. Sometimes I forget all my mountain ranges. Adirondacks and the Catskills. Maybe a little bit of snow up there. And below average temperatures once again sinking into northern Midwest, potentially down into the mid-Atlantic and New England. And here comes more rainfall, more high elevation snow for the Pacific Northwest. Now we're into Wednesday and Thursday of next week. And we have kind of ridging still down here in the southwest out through the plains. We're hot and we're dry out there. It's going to be pretty warm, I can tell you right now. And I'll show you this as we're going through. It's going to be pretty warm, I think, next Monday to Friday, really through the central U.S. if we were to take a look at our temperature anomalies. So here we go. This is around that same time frame, Wednesday, Thursday. Notice hot anomalies through this region, and that cooler air still trying to dig its way into the east. And then that warm air is going to push out east, but then we're going to get more cold air likely to replace it. Wow, look at the end of this run. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anyways, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So Wednesday, Thursday, and then we get into next weekend. Now, this is when stuff gets interesting because the OOZ of the GFS actually has this snowstorm diving a little bit farther south, putting potentially, small chance, some snow into Minneapolis, Des Moines, and Omaha. Now, the latest 06Z run brings a snowstorm a little bit farther to the north. Regardless, this is cold air diving down this weekend into the northern plains and the Midwest. And this is what I'm concerned about. This down here, and I'll show it from the severe weather perspective later, could be severe weather. It could be even a severe weather outbreak through Dixie Alley and then pushing out east towards the mid-Atlantic. So next weekend is going to be messy. Pacific Northwest is getting snow. Northern Rockies is getting snow. Potentially cold rain / severe weather through Dixie Alley, and then potentially snow up there in the northern plains and upper Midwest. So, and lots of cold air sinking. So this is going to be it's going to be a little bit of quiet during the week this week for most people, and then next weekend it gets messy for a lot of people across the country, except for the Southwest remains dry and warm. And that's the Southwest doing Southwest things. Pacific Northwest is doing Pacific Northwest things, cold and wet. The Southwest is doing Southwest things, dry and warm. Shocker, no one's surprised. Look at my surprised face. That's just what happens for the majority of the time. Now we're getting into next Sunday and Monday, and that storm tries to transfer out east. Some of the other runs actually put snow up and down at Appalachia here at the end of next weekend. This latest run keeps the snow a little bit farther to the north. Regardless, there's going to be cold air down there and very cold rain. I think in the higher elevations, this will be snow down and even maybe down even into southern Appalachia. Now getting a little bit farther out, and this is when things get the most spicy, but we're not really sure about this time frame. Getting into this would be kind of the beginning / middle of the second week of November 10th, 11th. Look at this monster storm. Huge troughing. This would be a severe weather outbreak. High chance at least of severe weather. And then major snow that wants to fall from Kansas City up through, northern Wisconsin. Do I think this is going to be this aggressive? I think it could because of our atmospheric setup moving into November. But I don't know. This would also be a lot of good snow for the Rockies, for people who are for where a lot of the ski resorts are, Utah and Colorado. But this right here, and then look at the, you could get a foot of snow down here to help promote some early skiing down there in your ski resorts down there in Southern Appalachia, Southern Appalachian Mountain Range. This even tries to put some snow out towards the Mid-Atlantic and New England. This would be crazy. Now, the good news is, if you're looking forward to some snow, the European actually sees a crazy storm like this at the same time. So does the Canadian. So there's like model consensus, but it's still over 220 hours out. So don't hang your hat on it quite yet. And then at the end of the run again, look at this. This would be just winter storm after winter storm, severe weather outbreak after severe weather outbreak. This would be the most active pattern, in my opinion, that we've had in 4 months. Again, this wants to put snow down into New Mexico and Arizona at the end of the run. It's the end of the run. Quickly, I just want to transition over and show you the Euro. I'll speed through the Euro. I don't think the AI is going to give me what I want a little bit. I mean, the AI kind of does. It does show the snow. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to look at the regular Euro. We're going to look at the 12Z. And just to quickly give you at least an idea, because we do like... Actually, we're going to have to look at that on... We're going to have to look at that on Pivotal. Here we go. There we go. So... I want to get this. Okay. Euro, as we get out, and we're looking at these more towards the middle to end of this run to compare it to the GFS. Why can't I get this correct? There we go. As we get out into November 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Now, again, we're getting towards the interesting time frame here. This is around November 6th, so the middle to end of next week, next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Cold air, snow for New England. Here's what I'm interested in. Look at this significant troughing. Again, we're talking about around the 10th of November. So beginning to middle of the second week of November, this is extremely cold air and a low pressure system diving up the coast. Could this end up being snow here? Yes. It's a little, if this was later in the season, this could almost be a nor'easter setup. It's too early in the season. I think we're gonna have a little bit too warm of air up there along the coast, but you can see as it gets far enough north, that rainfall does turn into snow. And then you have a 989 low. So kind of like a mini nor'easter up there potentially for Maine. But again, it's showing this major dip in the jet stream, in the polar jet. And look what's right behind it. Significant amplified trough, significant severe weather setup, and a lot of snow potentially through the plains. We'll have to see how that plays out. What's interesting is this is far out at the end of the run, but when you see globals agreeing on the time frame and a situation like this happening, they're clearly seeing something unstable up to the north. Probably, like I've been saying, the warm anomalies that we've had up in our tropospheric and stratospheric polar vortex through October and what we're going to have in the beginning of November. That jet stream is slowing. The models know it's slowing, and they know that we're going to get a dump of cold air, and they know our polar jet's going to collapse once or twice here in the beginning to middle of November. The timing, how much moisture is available there for potential snowstorms up in the air, but that's why they see this. Look at this 980 millibar snowstorm at the end of the Euro. But again, we don't really want to, we're not going to believe exactly where this snow is, exactly how cold this air is this far out in the model run, but the signal's there. The signal's there. And even if we looked out towards our Canadian, which doesn't go as far out, look at that snow it puts up in New England. And then you can see it wanting to bring multiple storm systems down through the states as well. So you've got 3 global models kind of sniffing out the same thing there. Really quickly, and then I'll get to questions. Speaking about, or talking about, I know people like to look at the ice up north and stuff like that. The ice is doing fantastic. We're still ahead on at least ice, and we're where we're supposed to be on snow. We've got this ice bridge almost fully connected here. We have a little bit of ice to fill in, so cold air transfer a little bit earlier in the season than normal is definitely a thing. And severe weather-wise, if you want to know what I'm talking about, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Take a look at this. Take a look at our 850 millibar, and this is what really promotes severe weather when you get these jet streaks. Look what happens as we get out towards the end of next week. Right? This could be Plains, Dixie Alley, severe weather threat. Nice southerly flow, cold, dry air, warm, moist air, higher dew points likely. And then that transitions into potentially a Ohio Valley severe threat. And then this again, this would be you could have a moderate fall threat if this were to shape up like this. This would be probably very, very severe day. Luckily, end of the run, near the end of the run, we'll see things transition. But interesting time frame ahead. November is going to be, I think, a little bit more fun to forecast than October, although it might be a little bit more uncomfortable for people in the States. Leave me out of that, Connor. What's going on, lady? Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm going to get back to chat. Anyways, that's what's going on. So, fun stuff if you like weather. Not fun stuff if you just want to relax out in your 72-degree, dry, sunny weather and just be in peace. You know, that's not me. I need a little bit of action in my life. All right. So anyone have any questions about this type of stuff? Have you made it to 2 cents yet? Let's see. No. I have not. Oh, hi. Hi, Fisher. Okay, you want to say hi to the stream real quick and then go out? Okay. Here, wait. Come here. Okay, say hi, stream. Say hi, stream. Okay. All right, Daddy will be done soon, all right? Stay out there. It's weird now because I wake up like 3 to 4 hours before my son, and I used to be annoyed by how early he woke up. But I have to get everything done before he wakes up. All right, look. Oops. We are still at 1 cent. But we got 200 people in the stream, and I got 1 new follower. So I would say this is a successful stream so far. You know what I mean? All right. He gets so nervous when he saw himself on the camera, so that's why he got nervous because I went full screen. But my daughter's watching me and she said hi back. Oh, that's so cute. They can be best friends. Fisher needs more friends. We just moved to a new state, so. Marissa, Kayla, Ashley, I appreciate you guys. Pumpkin pie. Hey, look at that. I appreciate the follows, guys. But yeah, I did put out a whole new, I did put out a video today and a few shorts today if you want, going over all the stuff, if you missed any of it. So, Boone, North Carolina snow. Hey, listen, there's some potential. There's some potential. I'll even go back to the 00Z because we like these runs a little bit more. I'm looking out here. There's even an opportunity right here. I think a little bit of a cold core high down there. I'm looking out here. Let's see the next good opportunity for Boone. Now, this shows no snow really here, but I think there's an opportunity here because if you looked up at our 925, 850 millibar height, this is below freezing air, and they're showing this. This map assumes you're at 1,000 millibar surface level. That's why it's showing rain, because our maps aren't smart enough to be like 4D yet. But I think this is going to be at least, at a minimum, flakes. If this turns out like this, we're talking about next weekend, at least flakes for Boone, if not a little bit of accumulating snow for Boone next weekend. And then a little bit farther out, again, if this were to happen, I mean, shoot, you could get over a foot of snow in Boone. This would be, though, we're talking about, we're out towards November 11th, 12th, so, 10 to 12 days. But there's a pattern here that wants to put snow into southern Appalachia, for sure. It's there. We'll see as the models adjust, but it's sometimes you look out and you see a zonal flow. You see no dives in the jet stream. Our polar jet's tight, not collapsing. Our polar jet's collapsing here. So multiple times through multiple global models. Pen pals, when they learn how to write. Yeah. Yeah, my son just scribbles. Very cute scribbling. Screaming. Oh my gosh. Ay. How's everyone doing? How long have I been streaming? I haven't been on that long. It's only been about 30 minutes. I will, for anyone who's new to this stream, I do upload videos every single day, and what I'm trying to do now is upload forecasts every morning, get it uploaded before 7 or 8 Central, so that you wake up in the morning, you can see the forecast, get my shorts out in the morning, and then do a morning live stream and potentially a shorter evening live stream too. So I'm trying to be available more. My goal is to go full time with this. I want to be covering weather full time, but just got to grow my channels. So hopefully, who knows? I mean, maybe next year, maybe by summer next year. Love the early morning screams. Yeah. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't understand. I guess we did it as kids probably too. Yali. What's poppin'? A crown. Feather tiara. Is that for me, Marissa? Thank you. When is southern Minnesota looking at snow or colder temperatures coming? Okay, so our first shot of snow, and we'll take a look at what we can compare. We'll compare the Euro and GFS here, so I can show you, we can be honest about this. First shot of snow here on either of our global models here is going to be, here we go, it's going to be in this time frame. So the GFS likes the opportunity of cold and snow into Minnesota and into the Minneapolis region, potentially as early as next weekend, next Friday or Saturday. That's the one. That's the one on the left here. Okay, so there's an opportunity there. Now the Euro sees this same storm up a little bit farther to the north. We're going to have cold air with this, a little bit of a actual warm front ahead of that. But the Euro keeps it a little bit farther to the north, where you can see as the GFS is super aggressive with the snow up here behind that system. Now, if that doesn't come to fruition, both the Euro and GFS see another opportunity here. The GFS wants tons of snow into Minnesota. And so if you want snow, you're a fan of the GFS right now. The GFS brings even more snow around November 10th, 11th, about 10 days out. The Euro sees that same storm again, but the Euro thinks, hey, well, cold air will be there, but we think the snow is going to be a little bit farther up to the north. That's where the moisture is going to be. Moving forward again, here's where the Euro and GFS surprisingly start to agree the most. Farther out, storm system. Look at this. Big snow up there. Upper Midwest, Northern Plains potentially as we get even farther out. November 14th, 15th. Again, this is kind of la-la land. But we're seeing a very snowy pattern that could be setting up, at least for the northern tiers, maybe even potentially for the Ohio Valley and Inner New England and the Appalachian Mountain Range over the next 2 weeks. But yeah, the GFS gives us like 4 chances for snow over the next 2 weeks. The Euro gives us 1 or 2 for Minnesota. So it really depends how things play out here. Guys, if the screen's black, I promise you it's a TikTok thing. It's not my stream. I'm also streaming on YouTube and there's no problems. This has been happening on TikTok for like a week now with whatever's going on with their servers. But if you refresh the stream or get out of TikTok and reopen it, a lot of times it fixes it. Houston. Yeah, let me close this out. Houston looks pretty dry. Looks like you could get a little bit of moisture moving in Saturday night into Sunday. And then you're dry and warm for quite a while until potentially we get out to next weekend where we could have a little bit of severe weather stretching from Houston all the way up through the Ohio Valley. So I would say for the most part, besides, I mean, really, yeah, Monday to Friday, Houston looks warm and dry. This weekend, we could get a little bit of rainfall down there. Getting into Saturday morning, afternoon, evening, Sunday morning, you can see a little bit of a low pressure system, surface low trying to form down here. So something to watch out for, but then the week looks pretty dry and warm. Severe weather potentially next weekend for Houston, and then another potential severe weather threat out towards November 11th, November 12th for Houston. So this would also be very cold air, by the way, getting all the way down into Houston, eastern Texas. This is out. If we take a look really quickly at our temperature anomalies, Houston's remaining slightly below average over the next around 72 hours. Houston's remaining below average, but then here comes this heat. So Houston gets in a little bit of a heat wave. But again, as we get out towards, boom, November 11th, 12th, I mean, Houston would be 15 to 20 degrees below average if we saw this drop down in here. There'd also be the threat for severe weather, though. So yeah, it really depends. I swear Houston is always so hot during November. They might see an average, just slightly below average, November if we do see this pattern kind of unfold here. It's not looking like it's going to be a super hot November for Houston. I'll tell you that based on the setup. You will have some periods that are a little warmer than normal. And Nightwolf, what's going on? Hi from Dora, Alabama. As always. Any severe storms or just storms in general for Georgia? We could get a little bit of moisture riding up the coast here, like I said, Sunday night into Monday. Models aren't totally agreeing on what this low wants to do, whether it wants to just meander over Florida or move up the coast. But I'd say Sunday is probably going to be a little bit messy. Sunday afternoon, evening looks a little bit messy across Georgia. I don't think severe, not that it's impossible, but I don't think severe. And then you're dry. You're dry and pretty cool for a while. Dry and below average for a while. Nice temperatures. This is when we could have a severe threat, though, next weekend in Georgia. Yeah, looking at these temperatures for Georgia. Below average, below average, below average, below average. You're looking pretty cool at least through the middle of next week. Average to below average. Then more cold air for Georgia. Georgia doesn't look like it gets a significant warm up until we're talking 200 plus hours out. And then look, more cold air replacing it. The East is overall remaining cooler. I don't even agree with, well, I kind of agree with this, but I think it's a little bit colder. This is a 6 to 10 day outlook. I think the East is actually a little bit cooler than this. This is saying average to below average out East. I think it's cooler than that. I don't agree with this 8 to 14 day temperature outlook either. I think this is cooler, and I think this is cooler. I don't know where they're pulling this from. I guess probably the latest Euro. But the 2-week outlook does not look this warm in the States. I promise you. I think that they're going to up. I think the Climate Prediction Center updates this today and pulls back a lot of this warm air. I know what models they're looking at, and the models aren't saying that. So, but we'll see. There's some smart people at the Climate Prediction Center, so maybe I don't want to. Oh, yeehaw, ride 'em, cowboy. I missed it, didn't I? What do I think Philly will get? Philly's going to remain average to below average over the next couple weeks, I think, as a whole. There's going to be some opportunities for snow. I don't think Philly's going to get a good accumulation of snow on the ground. I think we could get some flakes in Philly, though, falling. Maybe even like a little tenth of an inch, maybe, of snow on the ground throughout the first 3 weeks of November, just because there's so many opportunities here. 1, 2, 3, 4 at the end of the run. Just because of the amount of opportunities, you get one trough a little more amplified than it should be, and suddenly you have some flakes falling in Philly. I wouldn't hope for, I wouldn't expect, some sort of big accumulating snowstorm this early in Philly. It's just waters off the coast are a little too warm. It's going to moderate your temperature. It's going to try to keep that as cold rain instead of snow. But I do think Philly's going to see early season snow this year, much earlier than they have lately. Last few years, the earliest you've seen snow is late December and in January. I think what we could see late November, early season actually accumulation, or late November, early December accumulation out in the Mid-Atlantic, including Philly. Yali, what's poppin'? Sometimes I wonder if my boss is watching the stream being like, is he going to log on? I'm like, listen, I still got some time. I go right from this into working my 9 to 5. Just got to push it as much as I can. This is personal time, Does this fall look colder than usual for the United States? Well, we've already been through fall. This fall is going to end up being... Well, I think it's going to end up being a little bit cooler than average. Yeah, because of how cold, if we're talking about astronomical fall, because we're talking about how cold November and December could shape up to be. If we're talking about meteorological fall, it's going to be average to slightly above average fall. But if we're talking about astronomical, which goes up to what, December 21st? I think it changes December 21st and 20th. But yeah, probably end up being average to slightly below average temperature-wise fall. Yeah. Hi, boss. Don't fire me. I'm not on the clock yet. Yeah. No, I'm Central Time, so, I work at 9 to 5, not an 8 to 5. I listen, sometimes I'm a very good employee and I get on early if I have a lot to do, obviously. I actually typically stay late. I'm actually typically working till 6:30, so. Not because I want to, because I have way too much to do. I'd rather work late than get on early. Outlook for Kentucky. Kentucky's going to have the same thing. Opportunity for some early season snow. I mean, look. very interesting. Let's look at the 06Z of the GFS here. Do I think you're going to get accumulating snow this early in the season? No, but look, the 06Z puts snow down into Kentucky like twice in the next 2 weeks. High elevation Kentucky, eastern Kentucky. That being said, it's still early for that. Typically in a La Nina, a weak La Nina, we have excess precipitation and moisture that falls in this region. Kentucky, you're right in the middle of that circle. Typically in a weak La Nina, you're colder here. So typically in a weak La Nina, Kentucky's colder than average, and this is going to sound weird, wetter than average. That means better chances for above average snow. And the Climate Prediction Center released their winter forecast, and they said they thought Kentucky had a better chance for a good snowfall this winter. So, will these snowstorms put any low elevation snow down into Kentucky over the next 2 weeks? Probably not, just because it's early November. If this was December, this would be tons. This would be a big snowstorm. This would be 1 to 2 feet across Kentucky if we were a month further into the season. But the good news is this type of pattern is expected to try to remain through November, December, and the beginning of January. So I think Kentucky's going to have some really good opportunities this year. Boise, Idaho for November. Well, listen, tons of high elevation snow. Low elevation snow, I don't really see much. Although you do get a decent trough pushing in here next. This is 240 hours out. So this is around the 10th. This is cold air. Maybe you get a little bit of low elevation snow here around November 10th because we have the cold air sinking in with that. All this moisture before that is you've got above average anomalies. So Boise is going to see above average precipitation through the first 2 weeks of November. As we get into the end of November, second 2 weeks, I think we're probably going to dry up a little bit out there. But first 2 weeks, you may have a chance where you're going to see a lot of high elevation snow, low elevation cold rain, maybe a little bit of low elevation snow as we get to the second week of November. There's an opportunity there with how cold this air is that's sinking in. If we do get this type of amplified trough air, this is pretty significant. South Minnesotan snow. Yeah, Toby, I was talking about that. If you're in Minnesota, you're rooting for the GFS to be correct and not the Euro. The Euro gives us opportunities too, but the GFS is super aggressive with snow. You can see we've got an opportunity here for snow in Minneapolis next weekend. We've got an opportunity here for snow in Minneapolis out on the 10th or 11th. We got an opportunity here for snow in Minneapolis the 13th. Here. I mean, 4 or 5 times. It's a 0-0-Z GFS. The Euro gives us a couple opportunities. A couple opportunities here. We've got potentially one here that could, I think this actually, even on the Euro, could put a little snow into southern Minnesota. Maybe an opportunity there. Maybe an opportunity. This was the big opportunity, but it's at the end of the Euro run. This would be like 2 feet, 3 feet for all of Minnesota. End of the run, unfortunately. But let's take a look at our global ensemble, actually. This is what I want to take a look at. Global ensemble. Let's take a look at winter. Mesomat, what's poppin'? Here. So, European ensemble, 00Z. We don't want that one. We want the 00Z. So, you might think, oh, the grays, this isn't a lot of snow. Well, this is an ensemble, so this looks at, for the Euro, 50 different members, and it averages them out. Typically, if I was looking at a deterministic, I'd only really be looking at the blues to the pinks because that's where we have definitely higher confidence. But on an ensemble, it's accounting for runs that show no snow. So these dark grays are actually pretty decent confidence on the Euro ensemble. So you can see here, this region. These are all pretty high confidence areas for that low elevation snow on the European ensemble. And that does get down into central and try to push into southern Minnesota. If we were to take a look at the GFS ensemble, same type of thing. Higher confidence towards southern Minnesota here. I would say these areas are looking, they got a pretty good chance over the next couple weeks to see a little bit of snow. Not impossible to get any farther south, but, I do think eastern Kentucky, I do think we may get some flakes flying in eastern Kentucky over the next 2 weeks in the higher elevation. So, you got, Matt, you got some big hills out there in eastern Kentucky, correct? I think so. Yeah, because I always wonder how far, I know, the range comes through here. I always wonder how far out west does that go through Kentucky. But I guess, yeah, it's eastern Tennessee. It runs through eastern Tennessee eastern Tennessee and eastern Kentucky. I think I said western Kentucky by accident. Oh, man, I wanted to show you something. Yeah, Winnipeg looks like it's going to get a ton of snow over in November. I wanted to show you something, Matt. Have you seen, moving into next week, moving into the second week of November, what our severe weather outlook could be? Let's go back here. Go here quickly. Okay, so whatever. Normal stuff happening here. Both the Euro and GFS see this. The GFS sees it more amplified. But this right here, oh my gosh, this would be a setup. And I was looking at the 850 millibar. I was looking at the shear on this. Insane. This would also, if this happened, I don't know, snow in Kansas City this early in the year. I don't know, but this would be insane. If this was a December storm, it would drop a foot or two of snow in your backyard, Matt, if this was a December or January storm. But then going a little bit farther, and the Euro sees this big drop as well. This could be another severe weather outbreak. Potentially, if these panned out like this, the Ohio Valley would see 2 severe weather outbreaks in a row. Looking at how this is, let me go over to the GFS and 850 millibar. High wind on pivotal weather. I mean, spicy right here. Spicy. Cold, dry air. Nice southern flow, warm, moist air right through the motherland. And then that would even be interesting for the mid-Atlantic out there. Tons of shear. And then look at that right there again. I know Reed Timmer is looking at this, because the first one is potentially only 160 to 190 hours out. I know Reed Timmer's looking at this right now. Yeah. I'm not having severe weather, then snow on my back. Yeah. A little bit of severe, a little bit of snow, a little bit of everything. I seriously think Houston is in a drought. Haven't gotten rain in months. You're gonna get a little bit of rain here, I believe, this weekend. Not a ton, but a little bit of rain in Houston this weekend. November 11th snow event. Yeah, I mean, look what the GFS sees November 11th. It's a little bit far out, guys, though. So, but the European sees something, tries to see something similar. If we were to take a look, and let's go to the 00Z so we can be real here. 00Z puts that snow a little bit farther north. Taking a look at the Euro around the 11th, it's not showing as amplified of a trough. Well, it's pretty amplified, but we don't have that same level of kind of moisture and snow trying to push down into the Ohio Valley, but pretty cold temperatures down here. Snow into the higher elevations probably in that region as well. But the end of the Euro is doing some crazy stuff here. The end of the Euro wants a 980 millibar mega low pressure up here with feet of snow behind that, and probably a severe weather outbreak out here through the Ohio Valley. This is near the end of the run, though, but this is the spicy type of stuff that gets Mesomat out of bed. You know, this is what gets Mesomat tweaking. Like, oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks real nice. I know what's happening. He probably saw this run this morning and was like, ee! Like a little boy. He was like, Rochelle! You gotta look at this. Even though we both know that this is 200 plus hours out. Yeah. Don't worry, Matt. I think it to myself. My wife isn't into weather, though. So I if I ran to her with that, she'd be like, what? Okay. And she'd really ruin it for me. So I don't even talk to her. I don't talk to my wife about it, you know. It's okay. She doesn't have to be into this, you know, but yeah. Sometimes I get excited about a weather event coming up, and I talk to her about it, and she's like, okay. And I'm like, oh, I guess it's not that interesting. And she really kills the vibe, you know. Love her to death, but she doesn't care about weather like I do. She's on her way to Dallas, Texas. I'm home all week. Yeah, ooh, alone. Everybody likes weather, bro. That's what I think. Yeah, Reed Timmer's the GOAT. First snowfall prediction for Michigan. Well, I think the UP of Michigan already saw some snow, if I'm not wrong. The Euro gives Michigan a pretty good chance of snow coming up here, I would say, out towards the 8th of November. and then a very, very good chance if you were to go towards the end of the run. I think we're going to get snow into central to southern Michigan easily within the first three weeks of November. Definitely northern Michigan and the UP of Michigan. Probably the next, I'd say 14 to 17 days. Detroit, southern Michigan, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I think we have the opportunity for early snow there. If Pennsylvania isn't getting snow, I'm not interested. Well, the models show the opportunity for snow. At least the GFS shows the opportunity for snow out through PA. You can see right here, that's in the mountains right there. That's in the mountains right there. That's in some low elevation of snow. Even is trying to put some snow down into Pittsburgh, actually. So they're showing opportunities for PA. A lot of it's high elevation, but some of it's low elevation on the GFS. Thank you. Me as a snowplow contractor, I want work. Yeah, I always get snowplowers in my streams during winter, and I like to give you good news if I can. I would have so much anxiety if I was like running a snowplow in states that are so hit and miss, like PA, like Illinois, into like the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. I'd say the Mid-Atlantic is the most hit or miss. Next, you got the Ohio Valley. You know, at least if you're like a snowplow driver in like Minnesota, North Dakota, Wisconsin, Vermont, Maine, you know, up there, like, yeah, we're good. I got tons of work. But yeah, like the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, man, you could get a ton of work, or you could get absolutely nothing. That would drive me crazy. That would drive me crazy. No. Bowser pretends he cares, but I think he's just tuning me out. Yeah. Now, my wife does act sometimes and pretend like she cares. She'll go, wow. But she's not a good actor, so I see right through it. Gaming in the Discord, you can check. Wait, gaming in the Discord, you can check drought maps and see your area. Did you mean to say gaming? Houston, most of a good chunk of Texas is on the map, and you can look at the map and see your specific area. Yeah. Oh, you're saying gaming to TG Gaming. I was like, what? Yeah. Yeah, it's in the Discord. Yep. Discord's updated today. I did all the major updates on it. Rainfall, temperature, severe weather. I got to update some other things, though. I uploaded 10 videos already today. 3 shorts onto all my platforms, 8-minute video, and then went live. And then updated the Discord. I still have to finish updating Discord and then make some posts on X. Now you guys know why I've been waking up at 3:30 in the morning. What about North Carolina? Again, I think if you're going to get good snow in North Carolina, you're going to have a better opportunity before the midway point through January. The beginning of winter looks much colder for the East than the second half of it. If I were to, I think North Carolina could get an earlier snowfall. Like lowland North Carolina could get an earlier snowfall than they've seen in a while. When do you sleep? Well, I've been going to bed earlier, around 10 o'clock. So 5 hours is like, I feel great if I can get 5 hours. Like, I feel great because I've been running on 5 hours of sleep for such a long time. And when you're really, really busy constantly, like I feel like I don't have time to be tired. But 5 hours is good. So try to get to bed by like 9 or 10, and then I get up at like 3:30. Like, if I get 8 hours of sleep, I'm overtired. It's too much. 8-9 hours of sleep is way too much. But I was talking to my wife about this the other day. You can actually look it up. They say men actually require less sleep than women to feel at 100%. That men can feel fully functional at 5 to 6 hours, where women typically need 7 to 8 hours. Just whatever it has to do with our hormones and whatnot. Like a woman with 8 hours of sleep feels the same as a man with 5 to 6 hours of sleep. And she uses that against me all the time too when she's trying to sleep in. But it is true. There's like tons of studies on it. There's more going on in a woman's body, so there's a lot more energy there's a lot more energy that goes into running a woman's body each day than a man's, and I think that's it. Like your brain, like the woman's brain works way harder than a man's brain each day, so you need a lot more rest. There's not much going on up here for me. I'm really just in autopilot. Like, I forget things all the time, birthdays, where I'm supposed to be, appointments, and my wife remembers it all. And she's like, hey, you forgot to do this. You have to do this today. You have to do this today. That's a lot of brain power that I don't have to use. She remembers everything. So I can afford to shave off a few hours of sleep. I require 8 to 10 hours. No, that's normal. Yeah. Look it up. Look it up. There's articles all over that have confirmed it. It's like a 2 to 3 hour difference. I'm the same way. More than 8 hours is way too much for me. I need a solid 5 to 7 hours and I'm good. Yeah. I would say the perfect is 6 hours for me. I just usually don't get 6. I usually feel pretty fine at 5 though. Oh yeah. TG Gaming. You can just add me. The Discord link is, I think, on my TikTok. If you click on if you go to my TikTok page, you can click in there, and the link's on there on my homepage. But you can just add me. It's Connor's Climate Corner on Discord. Same thing as my name on all the platforms. Connor's Climate Corner HQ. Just put an H and a Q at the end. Add me as a friend, and I'll add you in there and make you part of the Climate Crew, and you can see everything. I think one of my mods had a link. One of my mods was linking the Discord yesterday, so. Yeah, there it is. Connor's Climate Corner HQ. He's over on the YouTube side. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get off here. Get ready for work. Again, I'm going to be doing this more often. Typically, I'm going to try to get on streaming at 6 a.m. I was a little bit late today because I'm trying some new video formats. But I'll be getting my long 8 to 12-minute video out every single morning, putting some shorts out every single morning, streaming every single morning, and then here and there trying to get on at least for 30 minutes to an hour in the evening if I have time. This just allows me to put out more content and stream more. So I appreciate you guys jumping here in the morning. Have a great day. Happy Halloween. I forgot it's Halloween. It's funny because everyone at work yesterday was like, oh, see you next weekend. And I'm like, we work tomorrow. And everyone's like, no one's working tomorrow. I was like, I have to work tomorrow. I have a ton to do. I'm glad everyone can just take off whenever they want. I'm like, I don't know. I got to work today, unfortunately. Yeah, happy Halloween. Have fun. And I probably should take the night off of streaming because it's Halloween and I have kids. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I'll be in the Discord hanging out today, obviously. So if you want to chat or have any questions, I'm trying to be more responsive in the Discord when I can. All right, you guys are awesome. I will see you a little bit later. Let's see real quick. Oh, guys, update before I end the stream on how much I made during the stream. Told you I'd tell you. Here we go. $1.42 or $1.44. But 6 new followers. I'd say again, success. No, that's pretty normal when there's nothing going on. I appreciate you guys. All right, I will see you guys. I'm Rich. Retirement incoming. See you guys.